Hey, what's good? For this video, we're doing something a little different. I'm working on some concept art for an animated film, and to help work out ideas, I like to watch other artists and how they approach their art. So this video is from Kesh Art. It's called How to Draw Cartoon People from Reference. I'm obviously going to be working on some concept art. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes I think would look good on you. Let's go. I love Kesh Art. If you guys are looking to get into getting better at animating and drawing, more specifically drawing, you should check out Kesh's channel. Not just the information that he shares, but the way that he does it is so approachable and likable. I think you guys would like it. So check out Kesh Art. Link to this video that we're watching together is going to be in the description of the video that you're watching now. All right, let's get into it. Kesh, what you got to say?
How do you draw anyone as cartoons? Well, here's
That looks
how you
like my
don't
buddy
do it.
Tyrus.
Take a reference picture and get straight to stylizing it. You try drawing one person and you end up drawing their long-lost cousin whose face was chewed by a koala. So here's a 5.
Hang on, before he gets into it, one of the things that as an artist you should do is kind of what he was touching on. Don't draw the same thing over and over and over again. And even I challenge you to not even draw in your own style. I like to draw, I'll get on Pinterest or whatever and draw someone else's stuff and let those shapes influence my style, you know? Because in that way, not everything looks all the same. And you're trying to, it's good to have flexibility in your art style. The same way as like, it's good to speak multiple languages. It's just better for you.
Process that has actually worked for me. First up, references. So how do you choose them? How do you get this
Look
nice
at that
reference
face.
pictures? Well,
Whoa.
sites like Pexels.com will give you royalty-free images for you to
Pexels
choose
is
from.
good.
But Pinterest, though, is my go-to site. I found that the key to
Pinterest is a lot of fun. I guess it's getting controversial because artists have been saying that there's a lot more AI generated images in there. So might as well cut out the middleman and just go and generate AI. And I know that that's going to make people upset, but it is what it is. It's like, to me, AI is kind of like a ruler or a compass. It's just a tool. If it's you actually drawing using your tools that you have to draw something or to animate something, and then you give it to your client, to me, I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, like 3D animators came out of 2D animators, and some people think that that's cheating. But is it though? You know, it's just a different, for me, AI is a different tool. That's it. There's no difference from me taking a picture of someone and then using that picture as a reference than it is, you know, asking AI to make the picture. You know, now if I take AI and sell that as my artwork, now you have an argument. No, you can't just do that. But AI comes in handy. There's some jobs that you just need to get in and get out. Don't let people shame you into some bullshit.
great references is to choose one that A, attracts you like a magnet, and B, to choose something that has very defining features like facial features,
I love that hair.
attire, accessories, weirdo hairstyles. Hey man, no judgment. Choose your poison. By the way, I've got a
do your
Pinterest
thing.
board down below with all the faces that I've liked and along with a PDF of this tutorial, so links down below if you want to download that. Step 1 is to see. See, art is not about drawing, it's about learning how to see, or at least that I've found to be true. So, how do you see this image? I usually start off by noting the thing that attracts me the most. This is what I like to call a intangible feature. It's more like a vibe, an emotion. For example, this monk right here has this sense of solidity to him. You know, it gives that vibe of solidness, that firmness, and that is visually represented by this solid cheek, forms and the boxy head of the entire face.
The more you draw, the more you're going to realize a lot of human parts are like a
caricature right here has a bit of flamboyance and
a lot of faces at least is like a guitar pick.
It also has that boxy, solid, firm vibe to it. So these are all the emotions that I'm getting from this, and I'm sort of making note of that.
Are you sure about that?
Step 2, which is a continuation of step 1, and here it's all about breaking down the image to its core elements with what I like to call the rule of threes. I ask myself, what are the 3 core shapes that makes up this drawing? And I ask myself that, and I start sketching. For example, in this image, these are the 3 core shapes that I found to be true. And in this one, it's these. And in this, it's this one. See what I'm doing right here? We're trying to capture the essence of the face in its most simplest form that we possibly can. I use these 3 core shapes as an idea to draw my first layer of the base sketch. And no matter how simplistic or realistic you choose to go with your style, these 3 key shapes will play a huge role in your drawing and how it turns out. So broskies,
I like
folksies,
that nose.
Don't miss this face. Get it right. When I'm applying the rule of 3 for a very generic facial feature person such as this one right here, what I try to do is I look for the shape of the skull, the top of the skull. And then I look for the kind of shape the jawline has. For example, right here is a bit of on the pointy, boxy side right here. And
actually,
then
I'm going to join him. Hang on, Kesh. I'm going to join him. Here's a picture of me balling. Baby lows. All right. So what he's saying is you got to find your shapes. So here I can see that one shape is here. He's saying find the top of your skull. So it's kind of more like that. And then a lot of times once you have the head, the next shape would probably be this one here. You know? All right, Kesh. All right, we're here. Here we go.
Always, most of the time, some sort of hair, right? And we have these things. So these are the 3 shapes that I'm sort of finding, which I'm going to later play on when I'm drawing this character. One of the key things that I try to focus on during this phase when I'm doing this so-called base sketch is I try to exaggerate, distort, and modify the core shapes to get like very different and radical results. You sort of play right here. You just don't think too much. You just have your 3 core shapes and you just play with it like a kid. Just stretch it, pull it, you know, all those weird things kindergartners do to their toys. That's what you do to your core shapes.
That's funny.
The next thing that I would look for is secondary features and shapes of this character or this face, and I boil it down to even more simpler shapes. And then I use something called the principle of simplicity, which is to take the essence of a particular feature and further simplify it. For example, take this eye right here, and instead of drawing it like this, you draw it like this. See? Simple. In my opinion, cartooning is an abstraction of life. It's a simplified, exaggerated version of what you actually see, and I use this particular principle to achieve that. Cash, mine does not look anything like the image. What do I do? Well, my friend, that's where step 4 comes in, which is playtime. Nobody gets it right the first time. The whole point of this whole thing is to do 2 or 3 variation sketches of this particular image. And each time you get a different result. And each time you try to modify 3 things, which is...
And he might touch on this, but each time you draw it, it's going to get easier. It's going to get better.
Angles and particularly shapes in order to get a better result that you personally like. And that's what I try to do here, which is to play. But the thing is, you can go too far. You might create something that looks like it's from the Ice Age. You don't want that. In that case, use the rule of T, not that T, which is to try to maintain an approximate distance between the eyes, nose, and the mouth. If you were to draw a T shape between the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and it sort of forms a proportion like this, and you might want to maintain that vertical and horizontal proportion line of the T and sort of use that as a guide mark in your drawing and get that. Along with this is the most important part, which is get the core shape of the face right. And once you put all this together, you, my friend, will get what we call the sketch. This is the exact process that I and my other students from my programs use to get results like this, 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 and this. This is the process. But to wrap this all up, that's where step 5 comes in, which is I do some simple inks and then I use my 3-step coloring process, which is flats, shadows, and refinements. I keep it simple. I get the flat colors in and I get the shadows in, and then I do a little bit of highlights and refinements. And for shadows, if you're wondering, I just break the image down into 2 aspects, the light areas and the shadow areas, and I just capture the shadow shapes in my drawing, and that's how you do it. And voila, you will have it. Fun sketchbook exercise that I often do.
And the cool thing about what that technique is, the shading, then all you would have to do is affect the layer of your shade. You can warm it up or cool it down, and that way you can determine it. You can change the location of your painting just by changing the shadows or the temperature of the shadows.
Wither my time away on this planet. Cash, how do you draw the body? Well, don't worry about that. We'll cover that in the next video. Or you can check out my 14-day draw-along cartooning program that has 14 different principles that we go through 14 different days with specific exercises, masterclass assignments that will get you started right away in 30 minutes a day. Or you can just wait for the next video.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, so that was Kesh Art, teaching us how to break things down into shapes. And I'm going to be doing a lot of concept art here in the next handful of videos, trying to figure out some shapes for characters in an animation. There you go. That's the battle plan. I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something in this video. Make sure that you check out Kesh Art. He's amazing. His videos are fun to watch. But anyway, on this video, give this video a thumbs up, share it with each and every one of your friends, and if you want to come hang out with me and watch videos while I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button, and then change the bell icon to it saying all. That way, every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.